Hi, and welcome to What I Miss About Britain Part 2 with my wonderful Brazilian student, Marcelo. Hi, Marcelo.
Good, not good morning, not good afternoon, good evening.
It's good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
It's evening for me.
Okay. What is it? 8 o'clock? 8:30 rather?
No, it's 6:30.
Okay.
So tell me then, what do you miss about Britain apart from, what was it? Rhubarb and custard.
Yeah. So today's subject in What I Miss About Britain Part 2 is English pubs.
Oh.
We have an alcohol theme today.
Those pubs, traditional ones, which really smells awful.
Smell awful.
And are dark and what else? Full of
Dark and
blokes, drunk blokes, all there trying to pick a fight with you. Is that it?
Not that kind of pub. I miss all the kinds of pubs. Those kind of pubs and nice ones as well.
Those family friendly?
Yeah, because family-friendly pubs in England still have a character, whereas in Canada, family-friendly pubs are just like a room with some nasty, cheap furniture that you kind of buy in a great big... Oh, what's it called? You buy them in bulk. All this furniture that all looks the same, and every pub you go into, the furniture's all the same. Whereas a pub in England, a family pub would have, I don't know, rickety chairs, and you know, you have to steady the table with a piece of folded up paper, and you know, you walk through and you bang your head on the door because it's so low because the house is 400 years old. The character of the pubs is something I miss.
And they have to be carpeted in order to let you drink, spill some beer on the carpet and smells awful again.
In Canada, yes, but in England you have tiles, wooden floors.
I've never been to Canada, unfortunately.
No, in England there's all kinds of floor surfaces, tiles.
It's not just carpeted.
No. But the carpeted ones are kind of the modern ones that I don't like so much.
But are we talking about the real old British pub?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are the characteristics of this kind of pub?
Well, there'll be quite an old building, maybe at least 100 years old, if not 200 years old.
What else?
And the floor will probably be stone.
Stoned.
Yeah. Or some kind of hard surface. It's not... The modern pubs are carpeted, but the old ones aren't. And depending which bar, you could go into a bar and it's just floorboards. And, you know, all the furniture's different. Every bar you go into, you've got different furniture, different, you know, some will have benches, some will have sofas, some will have rickety old chairs. I like that. But the main thing I like about English pubs is that you can go on pub crawls.
That's very interesting. But before we get into that...
And every pub is different. Oh, yeah. Okay. Before we get into that.
I think we should advise people that go to England about the lack of service. You have to go to the bar, to the counter, in order to order your beer. Don't wait there, because you wait forever. Nobody will come to you to get your order.
You see, I miss this as well. I miss that you have to go to the bar to order thing.
To order around if you are with somewhere else, if you are with your friends. How many glasses of beer can you, Rebecca, carry?
2.
2? You're useless then in the pub.
I'm completely useless.
Just go to the pub just with your daughter with you, or your husband, nobody else, because otherwise, if it's your turn to go to the bar, and get the round.
Yeah.
How could you just?
Well, I'd have to do it in
How
shifts.
many
Or you bring a
journeys?
friend.
How many journeys to the bar, from the table to the bar, would you have to do?
Well, I don't have that many friends.
Oh no!
I would probably do 2 journeys. You know, if there's 6 of us, I might just be able to get 3 drinks in,
Oh,
maybe. And not everyone's going to be buying beer.
that's more
So
like it.
we might have 3 gin and tonics, and I can easily get 3 gin and tonics. But we have big pint glasses. You know, there's no point in going to a pub that serves a beer in a piddly little
Yeah.
glass.
And I would say, I'm not trying to be sexist, but half a pint is a female thing. If you're a man, don't go to the bar and order half a pint.
No, unless you're strapped for cash, and then you can order half a beer in a pint glass, and then it looks like you're drinking a pint.
And what's the name of? It's a disgusting drink that I think it's a mix of beer and lemonade.
Oh yeah, lager tops.
Lager tops.
Yeah.
It's
So
awful.
lager topped with lemonade. So you have you fill it up almost to the top with lager, and then you pour lemonade in the last half inch. That is how I would drink lager. Sorry.
It's just, yeah, big girly.
But I'm not a lager fan. I would drink something like a Belgian beer, which is very strong.
Belgian beer.
Yeah, something like Hoegaarden, which I'm not pronouncing correctly.
But is it lager or ale? Or
No,
bitter?
it's a white beer. Very nice. Yeah.
Well,
But I can't drink it, so anymore.
well. Now, let's talk about pub crawl.
Pub crawls. Yeah.
Pub crawls, yep.
Okay.
In how many pub crawls have you been involved so far?
In my whole life, not many.
Yeah,
I'm not a big drinker. I have maybe been on 5 pub crawls in my life.
And how did you end up?
Fine, because I pace myself, because I'm sensible.
You pace yourself.
Yeah. And I probably only manage about 4 pubs.
4 pubs.
Yeah. So Norwich is famous for its pub crawls, and because Norwich used to have 1 pub for every day of the year and 1 church for every Sunday of the year. I think that's now changed.
Let me pick your brains in this subject. How do I know when it's the time, when it's the right time to go from one pub to another? I mean, how do I know when's the time to stop drinking in one pub and go to the other?
Well, it depends if you're doing a challenge or not. If you're just having a night out with friends, you may only do 2 pubs. But if the challenge is to drink in as many pubs as possible, you can only have 1 drink per pub. Once everyone's finished their drink, you've then got to move on.
So you have to lay down the rules beforehand.
Yeah, I guess people know, are we going out on a pub crawl challenge, or are we just going out with friends and we happen to go to some different pubs?
You see, I didn't know that
No.
there were 2 categories of pub crawls.
Yeah, you have the
With
pub crawl
friends.
challenge.
And competition.
And the competition often happens, at work, where the people are more acquaintances than friends.
Are girls allowed?
Are girls allowed? What do you mean, are girls allowed?
Are girls allowed in a competition pub crawl?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
of course they are. Yeah, but I would always duck out early because I'm a lightweight. They might be doing an 8 pub crawl, and I'll do the first 3 or 4, and then I'll go home.
Because you pace yourself.
Yeah, because I'm sensible. and old. When I was 19, maybe I would have not been so sensible. But what I really wanted to talk about was the village pub crawl.
Oh, go on.
Village pub crawl. So in Canada, it is impossible to have a village pub crawl. You cannot get on your bike and bike to the pub and then go and bike another 2-3 miles to another pub and then bike 2-3 miles to another pub, because there's about 50 miles between each pub in Canada. So there's no way you could do that kind of pub crawl. Not in villages. Obviously, you could bike between bars in town, but that's not the same thing as biking through the village. You know, you go out, you start in the afternoon, you bike through one village, you go to the pub, and then you go to the next one, and you stop for lunch. And the fact that you've got all these close-knit villages and communities that you can just easily access within a few miles, I really missed that. I missed that more than the pub thing.
You see, this is another thing that I didn't know. That another category of pub crawl, and inter-villages pub crawls.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't dream of that, because pub crawl, it has crawl in the name. So you wouldn't crawl for a mile, would you? So I think it's a bit of cheating, getting on a bicycle to get from pub A to pub B.
Well, at the end of the night, you'd probably end up walking home rather than biking home. Maybe your bike would get lost somewhere if you were really, really drunk. Or you'd just, maybe you know some friends in the last village you go to and you just crash on their floor.
So when we started talking about what you miss about Britain, and you said pub, you were lying, because basically what you miss is pub crawl.
What I actually miss is
the
villages, and being able to easily bike from village to village to see friends, to see pubs, to have a little lunch in one village, and stop off at the beach somewhere else, and everything's within a 12-15 mile radius. Whereas in Canada, there's 50 miles to the next interesting thing. So yeah, I missed that.
What's the nearest village to Norwich?
Oh, well, they have like the city, and then the outskirts of the cities are made of, what are they called? I've completely forgotten.
I mean, have you ever pub crawled to one village near Norwich?
No. So I would have done a pub crawl in the city, but the village pub crawls I'm thinking about would be my parents' village, and then I would ride to the next village, and then the next village. There's about 3, maybe 4 villages you could ride around. Or you could ride to the next town, do a few pubs in there, and then stop off in a village on the way back or something.
Where do your parents live?
They live in a tiny little village in near the town of Fakenham.
Fakenham?
Yeah, which is about 45-minute drive north of Norwich. North or northeast?
Does this little quaint village have a name?
Yes, but I'm not going to put it on a public podcast.
Oh, because what? You're afraid of people popping in?
People, all my fans
on your parents' doorstep to visit them.
Yeah, all my fans. You never know, I might have annoyed someone in a lesson, and off they go to my parents' village.
To complain about their daughter.
Yeah. So every village used to have a pub in the olden days, but now they're all closing down, so it is more difficult to find this experience, which is sad. So now we have to bike about 5 miles before we find the nearest. No, actually, there is one. We have to bike about 2 miles to find a pub, but we have to go across the main road. So it's a bit dangerous if you're drunk.
Are you fit enough to bike 2 miles?
Yes. I am fit enough to bike 2 miles. I have cycled 100 miles before in one
Really?
day, but
So
not whilst I was drunk.
Really, you're like Margaret Thatcher, an iron one.
Once I was quite strong and fit, yes. But I would not have drunk my way through 100 miles.
100 miles.
Yeah. But, yeah. And when I was a kid, it was a common thing to ride at least 12 miles on my bike. And now kids, what do? They're not allowed within 500 meters of their house. No,
Yeah,
they're not allowed outside of 500 meters of their homes.
Yeah.
But that's another topic.
Do you bike now?
I
nowadays?
do, yeah, but not as much. Not as much. No. And I tend to go up and down mountains, so I'll only do 3 to 5 kilometers. And I say kilometers because we measure in kilometers in Canada as well.
Okay.
So.
And is there any special kind of bicycle to bike in the snow?
Yes, a fat bike.
Like someone who's a bit how can I say, rotund.
Yeah.
Fat.
It's got really, really fat tires. They're about 3 times the thickness of a normal mountain bike tire.
Oh.
So that they distribute their weight more evenly across the snow.
And does this really help?
Yeah, but I've never actually ridden one. But lots of people in town ride them. But I'm on the thinking that in the winter I want to ski, and in the summer I want to mountain bike. Why would I ride a bike in the winter when I can ski? So
Fair enough.
yeah. So we've gone off topic of the pub crawl and pubs.
As usual.
So are we going to end it there and move on
to
talking about bikes? Oh, and the time is nearly up. So
yeah.
So yes, next session we will try and talk about fat bikes.
Fat bikes.
Yeah.
Fat bikes. So here's another thing that you miss about Britain then.
What do I miss?
Inter-villages pub crawls.
Yeah. And just the closeness of villages and being able to ride my bike somewhere rather than here in my town we ride our bikes, but we just ride them like around in a circle and back home again.
I see. And do you walk around much there where you live now?
Yeah.
Or do you have to
small...
get around by car?
If you're going outside of town, you have to go by car, but in town it's easy to walk everywhere. Although it's set up for cars, so I get frustrated. That's another topic, actually. The annoying pedestrian... crossing system.
Bit of moaning now.
Yes,
bit of whinging.
Canada does not know how to traffic its pedestrians safely.
It's exactly like Britain.
Is it?
London, for God's sake. I could have been killed so many times.
I feel safer crossing in London.
Just look into the wrong side of the road.
Oh, but that's your fault. That's your own silly fault. But yeah, I feel safer crossing the road in London than I do crossing the road in a tiny 4,000 people town in Canada. Yeah. Okay, I think we are at the end of our session. And I think you need to go back to bed.
Yeah, but before that, I'll pour myself another drink.
Yeah, have one of those caipirinhas.
Yeah, caipirinha.
Yeah.
Yep. Rebecca, nice to talk to you again. Have a nice Saturday evening and Sunday. And speak to you next Saturday.
Yeah, okay. I will see you next Saturday.
Thank you. Take care.
And you. Bye-bye.
Bye.